welcome to the Retirement Wealth Podcast. We're so glad you're joining us today. You know, navigating the world of Medicare can feel like a maze, right? With all the different parts, A, B, C, and D, it can get pretty overwhelming.
Absolutely, Emily. It's a crucial piece of the retirement puzzle, and understanding it can make a huge difference in your healthcare experience as you age.
Exactly. We're going to break down how each part works and why it's important for your overall retirement planning.
We'll discuss the differences between these parts, what they cover, and how you can choose the right options for your situation.
Plus, we'll touch on some common myths and misconceptions that can lead to confusion and, even some costly mistakes.
And don't worry, we'll keep it straightforward and easy to understand. Our goal is to empower you with the information you need to feel confident about your choices.
So, whether you're just starting to think about Medicare or you're already enrolled, we've got you covered. Let's dive in and explore the ins and outs of Medicare, starting with Part A.
Yes, let's get into it. Part A is essentially your hospital insurance, covering inpatient stays, and it's often the first part people encounter when they think about Medicare.
Right, and it's so important to know what this part covers so you're not caught off guard when you need care.
So Emily, when we think about Medicare, it's really crucial for folks planning their retirement right now. I mean, it's not just about healthcare. It's about security, right?
Absolutely, David. With so many changes happening in the healthcare landscape, I can see how this could cause a lot of stress for people.
Right. And we know that healthcare costs are one of the biggest concerns for retirees. They can really eat into that fixed income. Just last week, I spoke with a couple, let's call them Tom and Lisa. They're both in their late 60s, just starting to look into their Medicare options.
Oh, I can imagine the kind of questions they had.
Yeah, they were pretty overwhelmed. They thought they had a handle on it, but then they realized they didn't fully understand the differences between parts A, B, C, and D. It was a classic case of, why is this so complicated?
Right. And I think many people feel that way. It's like navigating a maze sometimes.
Exactly. And what's alarming is that a lot of retirees underestimate their healthcare costs. According to recent studies, a healthy couple at age 65 is expected to spend over $300,000 on healthcare throughout retirement, and that's not even including long-term care.
Wow, that's a significant amount. It really hits home how critical it is to plan for these expenses.
Yes, and when you combine that with inflation, which is still a concern, it makes things even trickier. For instance, let's say Tom and Lisa decide to enroll in a Medicare Advantage plan because it seems cost-effective. But they didn't account for potential out-of-pocket expenses, which can really add up, especially if they need specialized care.
That's a great point. It's not just about picking a plan. It's about understanding the long-term implications, right?
Exactly. And with the volatility in the market, many people are worried about their retirement savings. They see their portfolios fluctuate, and then they wonder how they can maintain their lifestyle without dipping into their savings too much.
It's a balancing act for sure. I've heard from listeners who are really anxious about making the right choices while still considering the possibility of downsizing or relocating.
Right, and that's where Medicare options come into play. If they don't understand those options, it could lead to wrong decisions that affect their financial health later on.
Plus, with Social Security adjustments, it's essential to consider how Medicare interacts with those benefits.
Yes, and many retirees don't realize that Medicare premiums can be impacted by their income, which can lead to higher costs for some individuals. I had another client, Sarah, who was shocked to find out that because she had a good income in her last working years, her premiums were significantly higher than expected, cutting into her budget.
That's a common misconception, I think. People often assume that once they retire, their income will drop enough to lower those costs.
Exactly. And then there's the emotional side of it all. The anxiety of not knowing how to navigate these changes can really weigh on someone. Retirement should be a time to enjoy life, not to stress over healthcare costs.
For sure. I think it's also about legacy planning. Many of our listeners want to leave something behind for their children or grandchildren. If they don't plan properly with Medicare and other healthcare costs in mind, they could jeopardize those plans.
Absolutely. A few months ago, I spoke with a gentleman named Mike, who was really focused on leaving a financial legacy for his grandkids. But he hadn't considered how his healthcare expenses could potentially eat into what he wanted to pass on.
That's a tough realization to come to. It's like a ripple effect. One aspect of planning affects so many others.
Exactly, and with current economic trends, we're seeing shifts in how healthcare is delivered and funded. The rise of telehealth, for example, is something many retirees may not be fully aware of. It can save time and money, but if they're not informed, they might miss out on those opportunities.
It's all about being proactive, isn't it?
Definitely. The earlier they start understanding their options and the implications of those choices, the better off they'll be.
And it can make a huge difference in their quality of life, knowing they have a solid plan in place.
Yes, because ultimately, it's about feeling secure in retirement. Having a solid grasp on Medicare and how it fits into their overall financial strategy can provide peace of mind.
So how do we help listeners transition from understanding the importance of this topic to actually implementing strategies?
Well, it starts with education, knowing what questions to ask, where to find resources, and how to evaluate their options. We can break down some core strategies that will help them navigate this maze more effectively.
That sounds like a great plan. Let's dive into those strategies next.
So Emily, when we talk about Medicare, it's really important for folks to understand the different parts, A, B, C, and D, right? Each one serves a specific purpose, and knowing what they cover can really help with planning.
Absolutely, David. Let's break it down a bit. Medicare Part A is essentially hospital insurance, right? It covers inpatient care, skilled nursing facilities, and some home health care.
Exactly. Most people don't pay a premium for Part A if they've worked and paid Medicare taxes for at least 10 years. But, it's key to remember, if you need to stay in the hospital, you'll still have deductibles and coinsurance to think about.
Right, and that's where Part B comes in. It covers outpatient care, doctor visits, and preventive services. This one does have a monthly premium, which can vary based on income.
Yes, and for 2023, the standard premium is about $164.90. But it can be higher for those with a higher income. A good rule of thumb is to factor that premium into your budget when planning your retirement income.
And then we have Part C, the Medicare Advantage plans. Those are offered by private companies and combine both A and B, sometimes including additional benefits like vision and dental.
Right. The downside is that they often have networks, so you have to stick to certain doctors and hospitals. It's great for people who want comprehensive coverage, but could limit your choices if you travel a lot or have specific needs.
Exactly. And don't forget about Part D, which is all about prescription drug coverage. That one can be a bit confusing. There are different plans with varying coverage levels and costs.
Yes, and it's crucial to review your medication needs each year. Plans can change, and what was covered one year might not be next, which can impact your out-of-pocket costs significantly.
So it sounds like a solid strategy is to review your healthcare needs regularly, especially as you age. But let's pivot a bit to how these Medicare components fit into the broader retirement planning picture.
Sure. When you're planning for retirement, you want to consider not just your healthcare costs, but also how they fit into your overall financial strategy. This includes your investments, like stocks and bonds.
Right, and that leads us into asset allocation. Many advisors recommend something like a 70-30 portfolio, 70% stocks and 30% bonds, especially for those who are still a bit young in retirement.
Exactly. However, as you age, you might want to shift that allocation to be more conservative, like 60-40 or even 50-50. It depends on your risk tolerance and how much time you have until you need to draw from those investments.
And withdrawal strategies are super important too. The 4% rule is often cited as a guideline for how much you can withdraw from your retirement savings each year without running out of money.
Right. The idea is that if you withdraw 4% annually, your savings should last for at least 30 years. But keep in mind, market fluctuations and your lifestyle changes can impact that.
So it's not a one-size-fits-all approach. Some people might need more, and some might need less. And that's where having a personalized plan comes into play.
Exactly. And let's not forget about tax-advantaged accounts like 401ks, IRAs, and Roth IRAs. Each of these has its own rules and benefits. For instance, with a Roth IRA, you pay taxes on your contributions, but withdrawals in retirement are tax-free.
That's a huge benefit. And when you're strategizing your withdrawals, considering the tax implications is critical. You want to minimize taxes while maximizing your income.
Yes, a good strategy is to consider your taxable accounts and tax-deferred accounts together. For example, if you have a mix of traditional and Roth accounts, you can control your taxable income each year, which can help you stay in a lower tax bracket.
That's a smart approach. And real estate can also play a role in retirement planning. Many people have their homes as a significant part of their net worth.
Definitely. Some retirees downsize or move to more affordable areas to free up cash or invest in rental properties. Just remember that property taxes and maintenance can eat into your cash flow, so it's important to factor those in.
And then there are annuities, right? They can provide a steady income stream, which can be appealing for retirees worried about outliving their savings.
Yes, annuities can be a good option, especially fixed ones, but they can also come with high fees and complexity. You really need to do your homework and understand what you're getting into.
And diversification is key across all these elements. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket, whether it's investments or income sources.
Exactly. A balanced approach can help you weather market volatility and provide more stable income throughout retirement. It's all about creating a solid foundation.
So with all these strategies, it sounds like planning for healthcare, investments, and income streams is crucial. But what are some common pitfalls that people should watch out for?
Well, one big pitfall is underestimating healthcare costs. Many people think Medicare will cover all their needs, but out-of-pocket expenses can add up quickly.
That's true. And it's not just about the premiums, right? It's also those copays, deductibles, and other expenses that can surprise you.
Exactly. Another pitfall is not having a clear withdrawal strategy. Without a plan, it's easy to overspend early on, or, conversely, to be too conservative and miss out on enjoying retirement.
And let's not forget about Social Security optimization. Many people don't realize the impact of when they start taking benefits. Delaying can lead to a higher monthly benefit.
Right. It's a balancing act between needing income now versus maximizing future benefits. Each person's situation is different, so it's good to get that tailored advice.
So much to consider. It really highlights the importance of having a solid financial plan in place.
Absolutely. And being proactive about it can make a huge difference in your overall retirement experience. You know, Emily, one of the biggest pitfalls I see in retirement planning is this whole sequence of returns risk. It's easy to overlook. People often focus on the average return of their investments over time, but what matters is the timing of those returns, especially in the early years of retirement.
Right. So if someone experiences a market downturn right after they retire, that can really impact their portfolio long term, can it?
Exactly. I had a client, let's call her Linda, who retired in 2008, just before that big market crash. She had planned carefully, but because her investments took a hit right away, the withdrawals she made during that downturn significantly reduced her portfolio's longevity.
Wow. That must have been stressful for her. So what could she have done differently?
Well, one approach would have been to have a more diversified asset allocation, like keeping some cash reserves or more conservative investments to draw from in those first few years. That way, she wouldn't have to sell stocks in a down market.
That makes a lot of sense. Speaking of planning, I think another common mistake is ignoring taxes when it comes to withdrawals.
Absolutely. Many retirees underestimate how much taxes can eat into their retirement income. For instance, I had a couple, John and Susan, who thought they were in a lower tax bracket once they retired, but they didn't factor in their Social Security benefits and withdrawals from their traditional IRAs.
Oh no! Did that end up costing them?
Yes, it did. They were hit with a higher tax bill than they expected, which forced them to adjust their withdrawals. It was a wake-up call for them. They didn't have a tax-efficient withdrawal strategy in place, which could have saved them quite a bit.
So what advice would you give to avoid that kind of situation?
It's crucial to plan ahead. Understand how different types of income are taxed. For example, withdrawing from a Roth IRA can be tax-free, while traditional IRAs can trigger taxes. Mapping out a strategy that takes taxes into account can really make a difference.
Definitely. Another thing I hear a lot about is people underestimating healthcare costs in retirement.
Yes, and that's a big one. Medicare covers a lot, but not everything. A friend of mine, Tom, who recently retired, thought he'd be covered completely. He didn't account for premiums, deductibles, or out-of-pocket expenses.
I can see how that could catch someone off guard.
Exactly. Tom ended up having to dip into his savings for unexpected medical bills, which he hadn't planned for. It's important to research the costs associated with Medicare Parts A, B, C, and D, and to have a buffer for healthcare expenses.
So would you recommend setting aside a specific amount just for healthcare?
Yes, I think that's a smart move. It's worth it to have a healthcare budget that takes into account potential long-term care needs as well. People often overlook that aspect too, not realizing how much it can impact their finances later on.
Another area I've noticed is poor asset allocation.
Right. It's easy to get comfortable with a certain strategy and not revisit it. I had a client, let's call him Mark, who was still heavily invested in stocks even in his early 70s. He was riding the market highs without considering his age and risk tolerance.
What happened with Mark?
Well, when the market took a downturn, he lost a significant portion of his portfolio. It shook his confidence, and he was forced to rethink his entire strategy. Regularly reviewing and adjusting your asset allocation according to your age and needs is critical.
And then there's the big one, claiming Social Security too early.
Yes, that's a classic mistake. I had a couple, Lisa and Rob, who claimed their benefits as soon as they could at age 62, thinking they'd get ahead. But they didn't realize that by doing so, they permanently reduced their monthly benefits.
That's a tough lesson to learn. So what would you recommend instead?
Ideally, it's better to wait until at least your full retirement age, or even until 70 if possible. This can significantly increase your monthly benefit, which can have a big impact on your overall retirement income.
So it's all about weighing the options carefully, huh?
Exactly. And it's crucial to understand your own situation. Everyone's retirement is different, and what works for one person might not be the best for another.
That makes total sense. So how can someone spot these red flags early on?
Good question. Regular check-ins with a financial advisor can really help. You want to make sure you're reviewing your financial plan at least annually. Also, being proactive about your health and having a realistic view of your expenses will go a long way.
And it seems like education is key. The more you know about these potential pitfalls, the better prepared you are.
Yes, and being willing to adapt your plan as life changes is essential too. Retirement isn't a set-it-and-forget-it situation.
So for anyone listening who might be feeling a bit overwhelmed, what are some next steps they can take to avoid these common mistakes?
Start by getting organized. Review your financial situation, your healthcare needs, and your withdrawal strategy. Consider working with a financial planner who can help tailor a plan that fits your unique needs.
And don't forget to educate yourself. There are plenty of resources available to help you understand Medicare and retirement planning.
Absolutely. And remember, it's never too late to make adjustments. Taking action now can set you up for a more secure and comfortable retirement.
That's such great advice, David. Thank you for sharing these insights.
My pleasure, Emily. It's always good to chat about these important topics.
And for our listeners, we hope you found this discussion helpful as you navigate your own retirement planning journey.
Remember, it's all about being informed and prepared. You can do this.
Absolutely.
So Emily, now that we've talked about Medicare, let's dig into some immediate steps people can take to make sure they're set up correctly.
Absolutely. I think the first step is really to review your current health coverage, right?
Exactly. If you haven't looked at your Medicare options in a while, it's a good idea to take a fresh look. You can start by visiting medicare.gov to understand what's available to you, and make sure you're not missing out on any benefits.
That's a great point. And if you find that you need help navigating those options, there are tools out there, like the State Health Insurance Assistance Program, or SHIP. They offer free counseling.
Yes, that's so helpful. And another immediate step is to assess your healthcare needs. Think about your current health status, any medications you take, and any anticipated healthcare needs in the coming years.
Right. And once you have that clarity, it'll guide your decisions on which parts of Medicare you need. A, B, C, or D.
Exactly. And while you're at it, it's smart to compare prices and quality of care. Websites like HealthGrades or even Yelp can give you insights into local providers and facilities.
For those looking to manage their finances, checking in with some retirement calculators can be really beneficial. Vanguard, Fidelity, and Schwab all have great tools for that.
Yes, those calculators can help you project your retirement income and expenses. You can enter your savings, expected Social Security benefits, and see how long your money might last. It's really eye-opening.
It really is. And don't forget about Social Security, too. Head over to ssa.gov and create your account if you haven't already. You can review your earnings record, which is super important.
Absolutely. And while we're on the topic of finances, using tax software can help you understand how your income from retirement accounts will be taxed, and that's crucial for planning.
Right. And something I always suggest is to start reviewing your portfolio quarterly. It doesn't have to be an overwhelming task. Just set aside a little time every few months.
That's a good habit. Keeping an eye on your investments helps ensure you're on track. And if you notice something off, you can make adjustments sooner rather than later.
Exactly. And running retirement projections, even if you do it just once a year, can really help you stay focused on your goals.
And speaking of habits, I think picking up a book or two on retirement planning can be really insightful. There's The Simple Path to Wealth by J.L. Collins. It's a favorite among many.
I love that one. And How Much Can I Spend in Retirement by Wade Pfau is also a great resource. It really dives into sustainable withdrawal rates.
Those are fantastic recommendations. And, podcasts can also be a great way to learn. I mean, besides this one, of course.
Laughs. Yes, of course. But there are others, like The Retirement Answer Man by Roger Whitney. He has some really practical advice.
Definitely worth checking out. And, Emily, let's not forget about financial planning apps. They can help you track your spending, investments, and even set savings goals.
Right. Apps like Mint or Personal Capital can be great for that. They give you a comprehensive view of your finances in one place.
It's never too late to improve your plan. Whether you're just starting out or nearing retirement, making small changes can lead to big benefits.
Absolutely. Just taking those actionable steps and integrating them into your routine can make a world of difference.
So those are some practical first steps. Now let's bring this all together. Wow, Emily, what a deep dive into the world of Medicare today. I think our listeners have gotten a lot out of this.
Absolutely, David. So let's summarize a few key takeaways. First, understanding Medicare Parts A, B, C, and D is essential for anyone planning for retirement. It can really help in managing healthcare costs.
Right, and it's crucial to know that Part A generally covers hospital stays, while Part B focuses on outpatient services, like doctor visits. Those distinctions can really impact your planning.
Exactly. And then there's Part C, or Medicare Advantage, which bundles those services together but varies by plan. It's like a one-stop shop, but you have to choose wisely based on your needs.
And let's not forget about Part D, the prescription drug coverage. Making sure you pick the right plan can save you a lot of money in the long run.
Yeah, and it's important to review your options regularly, as they can change from year to year. Staying informed is key to maximizing your benefits.
For sure, Emily. And as we wrap up, it's worth emphasizing how important it is to build and protect your retirement wealth. Having a solid understanding of Medicare and healthcare options is a huge part of that equation.
Definitely. It all plays into your overall retirement strategy. So listeners, if you found today's episode helpful, please like, subscribe, and comment with your biggest takeaway or any questions you might have.
And don't forget to share this episode with someone you know who's planning for or already in retirement. It could really help them navigate their own healthcare decisions.
Yes, and next time, we're diving into a really exciting topic: how to retire early without a high salary. So if that sounds intriguing, you won't want to miss it.
Until then, take care of yourselves and keep building that retirement wealth. We're here to support you on your journey.
Bye for now, everyone.